left 5 civilians dead and 15 others wounded. Embattled Canada women's soccer coach Bev Priestman apologized to her players and pledged to cooperate with an investigation into the drone spying scandal at the Paris Olympics.
The team was deducted 6 points, and Priestman was banned for a year after 2 of her assistants were caught using drones to spy on New Zealand's practices.
Britain's new left-leaning government said Sunday that the nation is broke and broken, blaming the situation on its predecessors ahead of a major speech on the state of the public finances that is widely expected to lay the groundwork for higher taxes. 15 people were killed after a mudslide hit a homestay house in a tourist area in southeastern China on Sunday as heavy rains from what remained of a tropical storm drenched the region, state media said.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee. And hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
I don't know. We have some issues with sound today. We didn't, but now we do. We'll deal with it. I don't know. One of those days. It's another one of those days. Good morning, America and beyond. Today it feels like a Tuesday. A dirty little Tuesday. 2 for Tuesday. July 30th, 2024. Right? Yes. One more day of July. July felt like a long month. And a stressful month for me. But you know what? I'm not rushing things. August will get here when it gets here. I have, over the last probably 2 years, intentionally distanced myself from the cult of Doug Stanhope and his followers. Now, I like Doug. And I'm a big fan of his comedy. And I still have a few friends in that circle. Andy Andrus being a regular guest on the program, and somebody I admire a lot, and Christine Levine and a couple of those people. But you know what? I don't like to be lumped in with the killer termites. So I stopped following a lot of all that, the world of Stanhope and all that revolves around him. If you don't know Doug Stanhope, he's a very talented comedian, not exactly a household name, if you will, not an A-list celebrity, but he's paid his dues and been around a long time and had some major successes. And he has a world of very devoted fans. They call the killer termites. Anyway, within that circle, and within the movie that Doug put out, or was the executive producer of some 15 years ago now, called The Unbookables. There's a guy named James Inman. James was somebody I was wary of ever talking to. And then Andy was on the program, and he said, you should get James on. He's got a lot of knowledge about conspiracy theories. I think you'd enjoy talking to him. I did not know that Andy was fucking with me at that time. And I had James on, and it was a fucking nightmare. I mean, a nightmare. And had James on a couple of times after that, especially on the fundraiser for Andy Andrist, or when he had cancer. But every time it was a worse clusterfuck of a nightmare. The thing about it was good because Stanhope's fans love to come on and be in the chat room just to give Inman hell, because nobody really likes Inman. And nobody has ever given him a second chance other than Doug Stanhope, who's given him second chances after second chances after second chances after second chances. I could do that all for 2 hours. It's a long story. I'm sorry. I'm starting off with a long, boring story for you, but maybe it's boring, and I'm certain it's boring to you, but I gotta voice my opinion on this stuff. So Inman was on the program, and just drove it to hell. And basically, we ended up not getting along after a very brief time, blocking each other on social media and having nothing to do with each other. And life got good for me. I'm not saying, that's the cure. Basically, getting James Inman out of your life, out of your peripheral vision, even, can do wonders. Then a couple of months ago, I saw that Stanhope, one more time, was going to Kansas City, where Inman lives, to do a live podcast with Inman. And I saw it on Twitter, and maybe on Facebook. And I said, you know what? This is not going to go well. This is not going to go well, because I know Inman. Listen, Travis Slipsky, another guy who I can't fucking stand from that circle, he was on the program briefly after Inman had set him up with a show in Kansas City that actually nobody came to, and it actually got canceled the night of the show because nobody came to it. This is in Inman's hometown. He can't sell one ticket in his hometown, not even to his mother or his father. We'll get to his father in a minute. I think his mother's probably dead. Sorry about that. Don't bring up dead mothers. So I saw this show was advertised, but I was like, why is Stanhope allowing himself to be dragged into this? Inman is so fucking pathetically weak that he's hoping Stanhope will come in and make his show a success just by being there. Stanhope's going to sell all the tickets. And I didn't hear much about it. I heard that, they were celebrating that it went well. I saw some pictures on social media, but it never came out, as far as I know. It was a live podcast from a comedy club in Kansas City. Never came out. Never saw anything about it. Did see some pictures of Christine, Andy, and Stanhope there. I did hear that Andy was trapped in Texas on his flight back home because of airline stuff. And that's all I heard of it. And then last night, Stanhope maybe was a little high. Maybe he was just a little fed up finally after 30 years of James Inman. And he posted on Twitter details about what a clusterfuck of a thing it was. First of all, James Inman booked this club, again, looking to use Stanhope as a draw to bring people in and make money. And according to Stanhope, let me look at, because there's a whole thing on Reddit, a Reddit thread about it. The take for the night was like almost $5,000, $4,897. Inman did not have any podcast equipment. He had to borrow money from his dad. His dad has to be 80 years old at least, probably older than that. Had to borrow money from his dad just to get the podcast equipment, laid out money for the film crew on his own, which he expects, the Stanhope and Andrist and Levine to pay for. $325 for Doug's travel from Bisbee, Arizona, and to Kansas City and back, which is, come on. I mean, in today's day, $325 is not going to get you. But so Stanhope drove it, and $300 for Christine's hotel room. So that's like $1,000 out of that $5,000 right away, gone. But as Stanhope told, the day of the show, Stanhope's still driving to Kansas City there, and Inman tells him that he's basically the name on the marquee, and Stanhope rightfully so says, "Well, if you're using me, I told you I didn't want you to use me for this, but if you're using me for this, I should get the money." Long story short, Stanhope decided to split the take. He got the take and split it up 4 ways, which is a good. He didn't have to do that. Split it 4 ways. Paid Christine, paid Andy, and gave Inman. Now Inman's didn't get any profit out of that because he had to buy podcasting equipment, which is not anybody else's fault but his. You don't start a live podcast show without having equipment. He had to borrow the money from his dad and pay his dad back. Now there's letters going back and forth where Inman is threatening that, or Inman's father, again, who's 80 plus years old, threatening to kick Stanhope's ass. Inman doing the typical call, frantic, screaming call, "What a ripoff, you ripped me off." If you know James Inman, I actually do a pretty good Inman imitation. I'm not going to do it here because my wife is sleeping and it will rattle the house. But so I said to Stanhope last night, this is no surprise at all to me. I knew Inman for 30 days and figured out what he was. Stanhope has known him for 30 years. And to fall for Inman stuff over and he's had him on and tried to rehabilitate the guy. Inman is a guy who can't fucking buy his own shoelaces. I mean, after 30 years and 35 years in comedy, 30 years that Stanhope has known him, the guy has got nothing to show for his career whatsoever. And if you're in it for 30, and he's not funny. The only thing that's funny about him is people laugh at him, not with him. So, but this is the pitfalls of being a comedian at any level on this stuff, is that you get involved with these people who are just now I left out an important detail here. They didn't. Inman claims that this was a fundraiser for somebody who has stage 4 cancer, but didn't tell the artist that at all, and did not market it that way at all. He had a GoFundMe that he didn't tell anybody about. And it was according to the stage 4 cancer victim that he's supposed to be raising money for, only came up as an afterthought 2 months after the show was done, when trying to collect more money, trying to go to Stanhope for more money in a rage. And I'm thinking the father might even be a fabrication, because the email from the father could have been from any. The point is, there are lots of people like James Inman in the comedy world who are going to be a leech and just a really negative influence on your work and an energy sucker. And no matter how high or low you get, these people are going to be around. The business is full of these douchebags, and you got to avoid them. No matter how, what they promise, check it out, get the full details, and then still say no. That's my rant for today. Anyway, I'm sure somebody will share this with James Inman, and Fuck James Inman. That's all I got to say. The drama. There's a Reddit thread that Stanhope started on this thing, which is worth a very entertaining read, but it's going to get more entertaining. And if I know Stanhope, and I think I do a little bit, this will continue, and the saga will continue. There'll be audio tapes coming out of phone calls where James called in frantically, begging for money, screaming how he was ripped off. So stay tuned. Right now, I was looking for because the Olympics are still going on, and betanysport.eu/dogtv is a place you can bet on the Olympics. Now, I don't know if the Olympics is cool with that, but betanysport.eu/dogtv is definitely cool with that. So, I'm just saying, if you want to bet on the Olympics, I don't know, can you fix an Olympic game? Can Olympic athletes be bought? Find out. I'm saying. I think we have a good show for you today, possibly a good show. We have two comedians coming up in the first hour, and patiently waiting right now is Marco Antoine in the second hour. He's from El Paso, Texas, by the way, and he has a show coming up in Vegas. It might be one of these shows I'm warning you about. Needless to say, I don't know anything about his show coming up, but you know what? Jamie Tucker, who is from Florida, who went to the Midwest to avoid all the Florida people. She will be with us in the second hour. Oddly enough, she won the funniest person in Sioux Falls. We know comedians from Sioux Falls. Like, we've had several comedians from Sioux Falls, not to mention any names yet. We probably will during the conversation. But that's what we can expect today. We will be bringing Stephen Ortiz and Ron Kane in a moment. GD is still floating in cold water. But right now, it's time to learn about Daily High Club.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer, we're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
Get this party started now. Good morning, fellas. I apologize for that very long rant, which was not really fully consummated. But I got this, Stephen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Are you, Mind Dog TV, are you floating in freezing water with no cell phone or cellular or Wi-Fi? You might be G.D. Fenderson. That's all I got to say. Good morning. How are you doing?
Not bad. I mean, I didn't expect to start my day with an old guy story that took 20 years, but it was a good morning so far. How are you?
I'm sorry about that. Are you familiar with James Inman?
We're friends on Facebook. I'm familiar with his mindset. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, he's fucking crazy as crazy comes. Now,
Yeah.
He hasn't posted anything about that show, though. Yeah, you've had to see that show advertised then, right?
I did, yeah.
Did you see anything up until this point about stage 4 cancer and somebody who's got and a fundraiser for somebody who's got stage 4 cancer?
No, I didn't.
Wasn't part of the marketing. Wasn't part of any. Nobody knew about it until 2 months after the show.
Uh-oh.
Does that smell?
I wonder if he's watching, because he just unfriended me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 'cause you said the name and it sounded familiar, so I looked it up and I was like, oh, we are friends on Facebook because we're friends. And then I just went back to his page just now to see if there was anything, and yeah, we're not friends anymore. So hi, James.
I highly doubt that he's watching, but he might have seen where Stanhope was on Facebook, which is a rarity, and you said Matt Napo says hello. If he saw you say that, he would unfriend you in a second.
I just
Yeah,
like stir the pot.
yeah, no, don't listen. I'm trying to distance myself from the Stanhope fan
Well,
base because
I didn't
I'm
know
not a
that at
fan.
the time, but
Yeah, yeah. But so anyway, the whole point of that story, which really, there are so many of those people out there that are just fucking leeches and really bad people trying to abuse the people in comedy, whether it's above them or below them. You really have to be very cautious about whatever you say yes to, and that was the point I was trying to make.
yeah.
Inman is fucking crazy as shit, but you should know that once you know what they are, then you should cut them out of your life forever. For some reason, Stanhope keeps giving this guy second chances after second chances after second chances, which is, I don't know. Maybe it's an emotional thing, sentimental thing. Maybe he thinks people can change. People can't. Anyway, so have you guys ever? What? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, back in like 5-6 years ago, Doug Stanhope was really cool and helped me and a friend out of a pickle at one of his shows.
What kind of pickle?
So we went to go see Stanhope. This was in Columbus, Ohio, I think, and we show up for the show, and we're getting ready to go in early because I'm a Crippy boy, and these people in line were like, hey, you're getting ready to go in, right? And I was like, yeah. He goes, hey, I'll make you a deal. You let us come in with you early to get good seats. We'll buy all the drinks. Me and my buddy were like, sure, why not? We enjoy the show. We go to the bar, and we're sitting there, and Stanhope is, walking around the bar, and we get to a table with him. The bartender comes up and goes, hey, guys, you guys going to pay your bill before you leave? We go, oh, the other guy's got it. The other guys ditched us with a $300 tab.
Wow.
And we were sitting at the table talking to Doug. We were just talking shop, honestly. He was being really cool. And he's listening, looks at us, and he goes, that really happened? I was like, yeah, the guy said he was going to buy the drinks. And he goes, no, I got the bill. Don't worry about it. And
wow.
He paid the tab and then took pictures with us. And yeah, we talked to him for about half hour. He was really cool.
Wow. Are you a killer termite now?
No. I've been a Stanhope. I'm a fan of his comedy, but I wouldn't call myself a termite. No, not a fanboy per se.
All right. We could continue this conversation for the next 5 years or something. I think it's going to get a lot more interesting. You know what? I don't want to get sucked all the way back into that world. I am waiting. I'm on Christine's podcast. We taped an episode about. It was after the Inman thing, so it's not out yet. It's called Found Dead. But so I'm waiting for that to come out. So I'll probably be talking to Christine at some time. Definitely want to get Andy on because they all are in on this whole the backstory of it. Maybe we'll get more about that. Right now, we're gonna meet a comedian from El Paso, Texas, who's going to Vegas. I believe he might even be in Vegas today. Marco Antoine, who is Marco has been doing comedy almost 6 years. He's also a musician, singer, songwriter, and focusing on stand up, not Stanhope, stand up currently. Ladies and gentlemen, please open your ears, open your mind, and let's welcome in Marco Antoine to Coffee with Doug. Marco, welcome. So, can you hear me?
How y'all doing?
Well, you got a radio voice.
Yes,
You got the radio voice going on. You do a radio show, man, with that voice.
That should get into radio, actually.
Yeah. So, are you in Vegas now?
No, I just got Monday, so this is my second day back home.
Wow. Oh, so you did the show in Vegas?
It was in Vegas. I did a spot called Hola Bibi in the I guess the down, and then I did another spot that was really interesting called Noreen's. It was kind of cool because it was my very performing at that spot, and it was their very last day open ever.
Yeah, you're having some major Wi-Fi latency issues. Not sure if you can do anything about that now. So who did you open for in Vegas?
So I did a Katie Blunt was one of the individuals that did a show at Ola that I opened up for, and at the other show was really just a practice mic, basically.
Oh, for some reason I thought you were opening up for like some famous national headliner. I don't know Katie, so not to diss her at all.
Oh, okay. No, she was on, what was it, Skankfest last year, I believe. I went out there to hang out with Stoner Rob and him, but we ended up having some transportation issues. So the not in Vegas, and I wasn't told all the information ahead of time, so I wasn't able to make it out. It's like a 60, 80 miles outside of Vegas.
Wow. Yeah, it's kind of Vegas is a better comedy town than El Paso. What are there more than one opportunity? I just know of that Chuckles. There's a Chuckles in El Paso, right? But I don't know if is that the only comedy club there?
No, you got the El Paso comic strip, and actually, true the information is, but I just heard that Chuckles closed down after 3 months.
Wow. Well, that's a shame. I hate to see comedy clubs closing. Yeah. Yeah. Ian saying "Found Dead" featuring Napa. Well, I was not found dead. I just put that out there. So, what is your strategy plan now? You just sticking around El Paso? Or are you looking for to take it on the road? What's your plan?
I'm always looking to get out to different. I've been up the road into New Mexico at Into the Mountain Gods at Club 49. They've got a Thursday night comedy show. I've gone up and hosted a few times there. I've been on the road at East Texas. Yeah, I'm just to open it up to get out to as many places as possible. Colorado, New Mexico, get
all those
big, get onto some bigger stages.
Colorado, New Mexico, big party towns. And saying that.
And for me, it'd be all business. I'm well past my part. I'm no spring chicken, of course.
Yeah, and a drive to Albuquerque, because there really is only one opportunity in the whole state of New Mexico, and that's in Albuquerque. Basically, everything else is just like flat. You think you're driving to the beach, and you never get to the beach, type of situation. So, and that's a 6-hour drive from you.
No, Albuquerque's not a 6-hour.
It's not.
Maybe no, not at all. It's about 2.5 at most.
Oh no! I have to argue with you on this. Because
I've made the drive several times, so I got to tell you.
Well, you're a fast driver, then, my friend. And you know what? When I lived there, I lived in Portales, New Mexico, for 4.5 years. And the speed limit was not 65; it was 55, and it was you had to stick to that basically because they were allowed to smokies.
Just to clear the air, because there is a such thing as GPS. So I looked it up. It's 3 hours and 51 minutes from
Wow, not bad. 3 hours and 51, so almost 4 hours. Okay. That's somewhere in between the 2 hours and 6.
So both of us.
You both were close. Good job, guys.
Well, the reason, because it was 4 hours or about 4 hours from Portales, and El Paso is almost directly south of Portales. You just take it down probably about now I'm going to question myself, but about 2.5 hours south to get to El Paso. Now, do you get across? Do you ever go across the border to perform, like Juarez?
Oh no, no,
No.
really no. I've
Now
never gone across the border.
It's been 50 years since I've been to Juarez, but that was a great town, and there were definitely opportunities to perform there, and it was a fun town. I mean, not so much anymore.
It's just personally, I haven't done it. You know, I've got a buddy of mine who travels internationally as a comic. You know, does shows in Mexico City, Juarez, and you know he'll do all of those things, and it's even comedy in English out in Mexico is also a pretty big thing. You know, I'd love to go out there sometime. We're gonna do something, but that's just an opportunity that hasn't really come up just yet.
Right. Well, yeah, and as you mentioned, your no spring chicken. I think out there, it really is a challenge to find opportunities. And if you're not a kid, if you're a kid and you have the opportunity just to pay for gas in your car, sleep in your car, you can go anywhere. But as you get older, responsibilities creep in, and then all of a sudden, that kind of opportunity doesn't present itself anymore. And it seems like.
Yeah.
There's only so many places. Like maybe I was wrong. Chuckles is closed now. There's only so many opportunities in El Paso, right?
Yeah, but the professional club here in El Paso is Bart Reed's Comic Strip. So that's a comedy club that's been open since the late 70s, early 80s. I worked there when I was a kid. When I worked at the Comic Strip back in the mid 90s.
All right. Have you ever come across anything like I was detailing this morning where people set up? Have you had the bad experience where somebody sets up a gig? You're expecting one thing, it's completely different than you've expected. Money's not. There's money issues, all sorts of nightmare drama.
No, my biggest issues at a show where you go and you're told ahead of time that you're going to do a certain amount of time, and then you either get cut in half, double the amount of time, and you didn't prepare for that sort of thing. That happened a few times, early on, but no, I've been fortunate not to be. I mean,
fortunate is a good word.
I've driven 900 miles for a show and ended up doing the show for people, only to turn right back around after the show and drive back 900 miles.
Wow. You guys can relate, right? Or can you not relate to what?
Yeah. Yep. Oh no, I've done 450 miles of drive one way. I think it's my longest drive, but yeah.
And
drive either way.
Yeah, how now in hours? How many? What is that? Like 5 hours, 6 hours, 7
or 5 hours? Yeah.
Yeah, you're driving 100 miles an hour then.
I do about 80 to 90.
Yeah, that's the thing that comes in. When I say maybe it's because I'm old now, and I'm driving home from the gig at 70 miles an hour, and people are flashing lights behind me like I'm not going fast enough. I'm like, 70 used to be fine. 70 used to be okay. Now all of a sudden I'm old.
85 is like highway speeds now for at least when I'm driving.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Dallas Comedy Club?
Oh no, I've been clubs out in San Antonio. I did Upstage Lounge not too long ago.
Wow. Our friend Ron Kane, the guy right above me, is going to be at Dallas Comedy Club next Thursday. Right? Next Thursday?
Yeah, next Thursday is the show. So yeah, I've been performed at Upstage as well. The little that's a nice little club in a very weird strip mall.
That's in El Paso?
No, that Upstage is in San Antonio.
Oh, San Antonio. Yeah. Texas, the whole, you know, it's like a country, and was a country once. So I mean, it's like that. Different cultures within different cities and all that kind of stuff. So, but the Dallas-Fort Worth area does have a pretty thriving comedy scene. If I were you, I mean, I know it's, you know, it probably, again, I'm going to just guess hours, but at least 4 or 5 hours to get to Dallas, right? No.
I'm gonna be off by another 4 hours or so. It's like 8 or 9 hours to get out there, maybe more.
8 or 9 hours.
Let's check.
Wow.
Yeah, let's check on that. Paso's the furthest west you can go in Texas. So
yeah,
from El Paso to where?
There's nothing.
You know, Ismo, a guy, he's a
Paso,
comedian from Finland. He talks about people in the United States. Maybe he's talking about me, because he said when he asks distance, people say in time. Like, how far is the airport? And he'll say 15 minutes. I'm always concerned in hours, not necessarily how many miles. Is it 400 miles? How many hours is it by car?
How long it's going to take me? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's got to be a struggle. I mean, how do you keep up? How do you keep up the drive when opportunities are? Because here in New York, I understand people who've been in it for and struggling for years and years, but they can work 3 or 4 nights a week without really traveling that far. It's got to be really disheartening to be trying to establish a career when opportunities are so spatial.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's about networking, right? You know, I mean, I got myself into situations here in El Paso where others really put me on their shows or whatnot, you know, but I kind of showed other comics from outside of Texas and what kind of shows we could put on together. And then I had guys from, you know, LA reach out, or guys from Colorado through El Paso, and they want to put on a show, you know. So I get the opportunities, you know. They're definitely, I know exactly what you're talking about, you know. They're way more few and far between than if I was in a bigger city, you know. But
or even Austin is not necessarily a bigger city than El Paso. Austin's probably about the same size city of El Paso, but they have much more opportunities for comedy.
Yeah. But have you ever been there?
Austin, I have 34 years ago.
Yeah, didn't you? Okay,
Yeah.
well, yeah, that was quite. Yeah,
it was the music mecca when I was there. Everybody was going to Austin because of UT and the music scene down there, and it was very much like the comedy scene of today, where you were just competing against a billion different people in a very small town. There are lots of opportunities, but there's a lot of people vying for those opportunities, and they definitely
right.
Absolutely. You know, you go down there with a New York accent, all of a sudden you're a little suspicious anyway. People thought I was a cop.
I gotta say though, and at least in San Antonio, I was gonna say, at least in San Antonio, the shows are a little more diverse, like audience wise, compared to what I've seen in Austin.
Yeah. Wow. Tell me now, getting off the comedy stuff. Life in El Paso, is it brutally hot down? Are you feeling the climate change down there, man? Is it like 180 degrees or something?
It's hot, man. But I just came back from Vegas, man. I almost died of heat stroke out there, man.
Yeah. I was in Vegas 15 years ago.
Even a joke. I mean, I was really.
In July, every year I went to Vegas every year in the middle of July, and it was so hot. Like, you see 110 degrees every day for like weeks on end, and it's brutal, man.
You know, I told people, you know, I'm from the desert. You know, I'm right here. We're smack dab in the middle of the Chihuahuan Desert. But the difference is, I went out to Vegas and I don't have a vehicle, you know, so I'm walking to a lot of. Out here at home, I've got 2 cars. I don't walk anywhere. You know?
Yeah. No. So you flew there. You didn't drive to Vegas. Yeah. Okay.
No, I flew. Yeah, I flew.
Yeah.
The plane.
So let me. I don't. I should know this, but I don't. It's the most famous comedian to ever come out of El Paso, Texas.
Out of El Paso? Wow,
Yeah.
you got what's his name? Johnny Sanchez was from here. Um, wow, you had his name Soto, George Soto.
Wow, I don't know either one of them, but that doesn't mean they're not successful.
Good guys, funny guy.
No, you could be. This is the thing with comedy, not any other art form. Is if you could be very successful and not known nationally in comedy. There's a lot of those people. So yeah, you know what? I get it. It's you know Otis Hicks. The name Otis Hicks ring a bell?
Yeah, I know Otis. He's my boy. Yeah, I know.
He's been on the
Otis
show a couple of times. Yeah. He seems to be.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I follow him, and he seems to be getting some opportunity. I think he was going out to L.A. last I talked to him. I know he'd been up to Oklahoma.
He was.
He's been getting around. Yeah, young enough to still do that.
And he was in Vegas. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, he was in Vegas just a couple of weeks before I was. He went up there with another buddy of mine. They went up there together.
Yeah. He's got I like his attitude, but you know, this is like the broken record on the show too, is that there's so many comedians who just don't have the right work ethic for it. I think if you're gonna do it, you really have to. Yeah, you just can't just sit on the couch and wait and hope and dream. You have to put action behind it, and there's a lot of work, and there's just too many people who are just they want it, but not bad enough to actually get up and do anything to make it happen. So, interesting.
But they want it handed to them. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. Do you have now? Let me pull up. I have opencomedy.com for a profile for you where people can find you. Oh, that's not it. I'm in the wrong thing. This opencomedy.com/Marco Antoine. Any other place? Because I was trying to find stuff. I know there's a YouTube channel that has 1 or 2 clips on it. Where do people go to find out more about you?
Oh, I was so adverse to using technology. I just recently, actually, and when I say recently, I mean like 3 days ago, I'm going to start getting more into that sort of thing because I know how important it is. But right now, YouTube channel, you could also check out a Foo and his friend on YouTube, and that's a podcast I did with my buddy Jordan Savai. He was another comic that was here in El Paso for a while, and he recently moved to San Antonio.
All right. Well, great. And I hope people will follow you. It is really important, and this is a problem I'm finding with a lot of guests that we're having is if there's not some real internet presence, it's hard for us to do any kind of story on you, or let people know really what makes you stand out and why they should be interested in you. So definitely, I would say. Get on the internet bandwagon. I mean, it's been around for about 35, 40 years now. It's time to get on.
Right. Yeah, no, I just did much growing up, even, but I realized I just got convinced by a tattoo artist that I met in and if you know where Las Cruces is, that's just right down the road from El Paso.
I love Las Cruces.
He told me, man, you got to get on this.
Yeah. Yeah. New Mexico State is in Las Cruces. Good school.
Right.
Good
and MSU.
party.
Yeah.
Good school.
Party school, right?
Yeah. I majored in party. That's what I went to school for down there. So I know all, but I would take New Mexico State over UNM any day when it comes to the party scene. It's just a better experience. But anyway, we do have to move on. Anything you want to let people know about upcoming in the next month or so in advance that you have performances that you want to let people know about?
Well, I mean, there's no solid. When I was up in Vegas, I was hanging out with Stoner Rob. He had mentioned to me that he that one of the companies he works with in either September or October to do another show. So that's something I'd have soon.
Well,
Other than that, since
keep us informed. If you keep us informed when we will help you promote it. Just drop a line and let us know where you're going to be, and we'll definitely pass that information along. Help promote you. It's and if you start to get some internet presence, drop a line too, and I'll make sure people know where to follow you.
Absolutely, man. I really.
All right. Have a great day. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being part of the program.
It's been fun, man. Thank you very much, man. Y'all take it easy.
Bye for now. Marco Antoine. So yeah, the El Paso. Have you been to El Paso at all, Ron, in your travels?
No, I have not been to that hellscape. No, I've been to other parts of Texas, but not El Paso.
He mentioned Skankfest. Are you familiar with Skankfest and Louis J. Gomez and that whole?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah. I've been following Louis for a long time lately, and he goes on these binges where he threatened to beat somebody up. He's on Twitter, and somebody just leaves a comment that is just a little bit critical, and he's like, "Come and say that to my face, motherfucker!" I was like, I'm not sure that's a good tactic. I had a guy come to one of my gigs to stab me just last year, so and I didn't invite it. You never know with these fucking people on the internet who you're dealing with, and that whole stuff. But Skankfest is growing. It's getting bigger and more. I don't know, more notarized than I guess some of the other festivals are, and so I would think you guys would get in on that or try to. Do you apply to all the festivals?
I apply to the ones that are relatively close. I can't really afford to, fly across the country and all that. But
yeah, this year I haven't really applied to any of them because I've been really busy with other things. So actually, like I kind of forgot. Like I see them pop up occasionally. It's like, oh yeah, I'll apply to this. Then I never go back to it. So.
Ian is bouncing between Twitch and YouTube, I guess. Did you see the stage fight between Louis J. Gomez and Kurt Metzger? I would think Gomez would wipe the floor with Kurt. Kurt Metzger does not look like a guy who could fight his way out of James Inman's father's condom. I don't know. No, I did not see the fight. Tell us about it, please. Inform us more. If Louis lost that fight, then he better not be challenging fucking people on Twitter to come fucking fight him. There were 5 people between him, but Gomez threw a drink. Threw a drink.
What a puss.
Mostly very. Yeah, come on. I mean, if you can't finish off Kurt Metzger in like Mike Tyson gets Marvis Frazier time, I think that was 15 seconds. 15 seconds in the first round to a knockout. If you can't do that, don't be fucking threatening people online. But yeah, it's kind of funny stuff. I don't know. So speaking of Sioux Falls comics, I got a friend request from our friends out of Sioux Falls. You know our friend who has been to Sioux Falls. You know that guy. I got a friend request from his wife yesterday. Or maybe somebody scamming his wife. I don't know, but I'm thinking things went south with the. I'm tired of financing you. I'm tired of financing your dreams of selling shirts to no fans, or whatever you think is going to happen. People are going to quake in their boots when it is for me. You haters, you're gonna regret the day you became a hater. That guy.
Well, comedy is hard, and the fucking business of comedy is even harder.
Yeah, and it's got to be even harder when you're the woman financing your husband's dreams, and he's not producing. You're working a day job and working extra hours overtime to finance fantasy trips to New York and Austin and LA and all that stuff feeding the fucking fat pig. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I take that back. Feeding the guy, and then producing nothing. That's got to be like as frustrating as hell. So I give a credit for hanging in this long. But Steven, do you have any insight into this, or have you been blocked there too?
Oh no, yeah, he after the little falling out, he unfriended me, and I can kind of see here and there, but yeah, no, there's no communication anymore. I called him out for making fantasy trips while not following up on his deals, and he didn't like it, so
that's not. Yeah. So I'm just assuming that there's a crying breakdown coming, and my name will be thrown in there. I should get him and Inman together in the same room, and they could just scream my name while crying at each other. That would be fun.
Okay, but yet they have to wear shirts with each other's faces on them.
Yeah. You know, I just don't know. See, this is why the comedy world burns me out. Is running across people you try to give support to and try to get behind them and say yeah we'll do anything we can to help you. They do nothing to help themselves, and then you feel like, why did I get involved with this guy? And then, like in cases with like Inman, it ends up coming back to burn you.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially what I've learned, especially producing shows and just being around other comics, and especially if you want to get better and kind of like climb the ladder, whatever, in any aspect, is that you really start to learn and figure out like who are your people that actually want to do it and are kind of like based in reality and know that the road is not fucking easy. You got to put in work and not like sit around and be like, why isn't no one getting a hold of me? Because no one will, unless you're a name like Chappelle or like Mulaney or in those,
or Napo.
Yeah, like no one is called like I gotta get this guy on my show.
My brother, Steven just said that sarcastically, and I totally enjoyed it. But my brother said, because we're talking about the guy Matt Napo who was in the nursing home. My brother said he didn't think there were any other Napos. I have tons of Napos on my Facebook friends list. Some of them are Matt Napo. Two of them are Matt Napo, but lots of Matt Napos. And I brought up Giuseppe Napo. He goes, Giuseppe, what's he afraid to like call himself Joseph or something? I said, well, he's still in Italy. Fuck them Napos over in Italy. But I don't know why I would. Oh, because you said Napo and Mulaney. But yeah, this is like, and I know you don't remember him because he's a guy, but Chris Monty got his big break because Kevin James saw him perform. And, and then all of a sudden he's in Kevin Can Wait and whatever, Mall Cop or whatever, Paul Blart, Mall Cop.
Paul Blart, Mall Cop.
Yeah. So, opportunities happen, but they don't happen if you're not working, if you're not really getting out there and hustling. It's not going to happen if you're not putting yourself out there.
Yeah, I know a comic from Baltimore during the pandemic. He went viral, and it really worked out for him. He parlayed it fantastically. But yeah, when he went viral, his shit was getting retweeted and stuff by LeBron James. Then like Patton Oswalt got a hold of him. He's like, I love this guy. You need to go see this guy. And ever since he's rode that wave very well. And I got to commend the guy, because whoever's working with him has done a great job, because they haven't pushed him too hard. They're pushing him just enough where he's like getting opportunities and just kind of building his resume. So,
those people like Patton and those kind of people, comedians who will actually do that, are few and far between. And this, Stephen mentioned Stanhope being a generous guy. Stanhope will do that, but it comes at a cost. And this is why he's got a cult of followers. There's a lot of those people in the Killer Termites who are comedians or see themselves as possible comedians. They're not really working towards it, but they think all I have to do is get on Stanhope's podcast or be part of Stanhope's world, and he's going to open up all these opportunities. That's what doing a film like the Unbookables will do for you. You see, get these people that, like Travis Lipsky, who doesn't belong on any stage anywhere, or Inman, and he gives them opportunities, and they think, well, all I have to do is like reach out and be, and then before you know it, you got 1,000 fucking trolls who are just desperate to get fame on your coattails, and that's why the killer term. That's why I try to distance myself from those.
Yeah, like you were talking about Skankfest, and I've seen that out there. You could apply for it and stuff, but I've never really been that interested for me, because the issue that I have is like a lot of that comedy seems pointed and boring to me. And it's like, that's, to me, it's not what comedy is about. Comedy is about going in there and kneecapping everybody, no matter what side they're on. And you just have fucking fun with it that way, instead of like, well, I'm going to kind of have like, I'm going to have my pointed, view, and this is how we're going to do it. It's just, to me personally, I just find a lot of that boring. And to me, it's like, all right.
I saw Jeselnik. Yeah, I can't. I always talk about Jeselnik, but I can't help it because he's one of my favorites right now. And you talk about a guy who found his persona, his stage persona. I can't imagine how you get started with that, because it's got to be really risky at first. And now that he's established, you can go anywhere and work anywhere with that. People know what to expect from you. But when you're first starting out, that takes, and you go into a comedy club where nobody's heard of you, and they're there to see somebody else. They're not even there to see you, and you come out with that persona. It's risky. I mean,
he's got great stories about bombing on stage.
I can imagine,
yeah, because like you said, I have my jokes. I'm not a type of comic that'll try and spin their way out of it. This is what I'm coming with, and we're gonna let it ride. So.
And the crowd is not always going to be receptive, or because they're not there to see you. They're there to see somebody else. You're like extra, like you're a condiment at that point.
Yeah. But and I really do agree with Anthony, like when he talks about like comedy, and like when cancel culture was like really big, and like and comics like, oh, we can't say this, and like he's come out and said, which is reality, is like language always changes. It changes over time. If you're a good fucking comedian, you'll write your way around it and figure it out. That's what you have to do as a comedian. It's like, because the rules are always going to change a little bit on you. You just got to be adaptive enough to write around it and figure it out.
Yeah.
And I wholeheartedly believe that, because that, to me, that truly makes a good comic, instead of just saying, oh, look, we can't say this. Then fucking figure it out, because other comics have done it. Carlin is probably like the #1 guy than fucking other comics. So
yeah. I have to read this promo. This is for Govs. We are on the Govs, proud to be on the Govs Comedy Network. How would you like to host your own podcast from a legit location with access to some of the greatest comedians? Now, I have to say, I've been on their network for 2.5 years now, and I have not had access to any of the greatest comedians. Their greatest comedians go there. That could be just a matter of the time that we're on. Because if you're going there to headline Govs in the evening, you're not going to want to be on this at 9 o'clock in the morning. You're just not. You're drunk from last night. You flew in or whatever. So, how would you like to be a host on your? How would you like to host your podcast from a legit location with access to some of the greatest comedians? Governor's Comedy Club Podcast Studio is looking for some tech-savvy people who know their way around a podcast studio. If you're good with audio, video, streaming, we can use your help, expertise in maintaining our equipment and software. In return, we'll give you your own video podcast and occasional free admittance to the comedy shows. If there's other ways we can better we are all ears to your ideas. You can contact Tony over there, Tony at knockemdeadcomedy.com. They're also looking for salespeople who will handle all the advertising and sponsorships. It sounds to me like the tech guy who runs this program and manages all the technical stuff over there has had enough, and they're looking for help over there. I could be that guy if I was willing to travel, but I don't. This is what I'm thinking now. I'm going to talk to Tony today, but if I did an evening show there, say at, I don't know, 6 p.m. on a Saturday night, but then I have gigs generally, my own gigs at 6 p.m. I have to be at by 6 p.m. But doing a show there could get some of these big names that come into Govs on the program. Just do a one a week type of thing over there. But this is really an offer for people on Long Island in the New York metro area. Say if you're from Jersey or Connecticut or parts of Pennsylvania where it's not too far travel for you, there could be an opportunity in there. And it could be, if you're a comedy podcaster, might be something worth looking into.
You could probably get. How about comics that are like kind of bubbling, like the younger comics, because I think they would be willing to do this in the morning if they're coming to Governors and they need to sell.
Yeah, no, I booked a bunch of them. You know what happens? I set my alarm, man. I don't know what happened. See, the people on their way up, even if they're hungry, they are working. And they're probably doing a Thursday night gig or even a weeknight gig. And then they're out late. And then this comes and they have to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is and they're just fucking hungover.
But then and I agree with that. But then too, you will find out the comics that are actually really hungry because they'll fucking be there. They don't care. Even if they're hungover, it's like, I'm doing it.
I've had a couple of them actually show, and I've had no doubt about it. I've had some big names that have come on to promote their Governor's appearances, but I knew them before, so they were coming into town. I have known them and had them on the program before, and they come and they promote their shows at Governor's. They're not helping me get that. I get that on my own. They're coming and promoting it because they know that I've had them on before and work hard to get people in the seats for their shows. I got to do news. Fucking sick of this news, but I can't get rid of the news. It's important to keep the appearances up for the neighbors, sort of. So it's time for news. I'll probably end up bombing them pretty quick. Let's listen. If you wanna take a break or just throw shit at the screen, just do it.
15 people were killed after a mudslide hit a homestay house in a tourist area in southeastern China on Sunday as heavy rains from what remained of a tropical storm drenched the region, state media said.
Elsewhere in China, a delivery person on a scooter was killed Saturday after being hit by a falling tree in Shanghai, apparently due to storm-related winds, according to the paper, a digital news outlet. The deaths were the first in China that appear linked to Typhoon Gaimi. David Lang reporting.
Britain's new left-leaning government said Sunday that the nation is broken, blaming the situation on its predecessors ahead of a major speech on the state of the public finances that is widely expected to lay the groundwork for higher taxes.
In a sweeping assessment 3 weeks after taking power, Prime Minister Keir Starmer's office expressed shock at the situation they inherited after 14 years of Conservative Party rule, while releasing a department-by-department analysis of the perceived failures of the previous government.
Move along, or there's a bomb coming.
Embattled Canada women's soccer coach Bev Priestman apologized to her players and pledged to cooperate with an investigation into the drone spying scandal at the Paris Olympics.
The team was deducted 6 points, and Priestman was banned for a year after 2 of her assistants were caught using drones to spy on New Zealand's practices before their opening game Wednesday. I'm absolutely heartbroken for the players, and I would like to apologize from the bottom of my heart for the impact this situation has had on all of them, Priestman said in a statement. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Ukraine announced it struck an oil depot in southern Russia supplying the Kremlin's troops, while Russian strikes in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region, where Moscow claimed further gains, left 5 civilians dead and 15 others wounded.
Ukraine's general staff stated that Kyiv security services were responsible for a drone strike in Russia's southern Kursk region that morning on an oil depot used to meet the needs of the Russian military, which contains 11 tanks with a total volume of about 247,202 cubic feet. Benjamin Wright reporting.
All right, here comes Mom.
This
Mom,
is the latest news headlines.
It's got to be a good story.
New blood tests could help doctors diagnose Alzheimer's disease faster and more accurately, researchers reported, but some appear to work far better than others.
It's tricky to tell if memory problems are caused by Alzheimer's. That requires confirming one of the disease's hallmark signs, the buildup of a sticky protein called beta amyloid, with a hard-to-get brain scan.
Steven, did you bring any sticky protein to the program this morning?
I was going to say I can churn some out if you need me to.
It sounds like somebody's in need of some sticky protein.
I got you. Give me 5 minutes.
All right. Do you need me to unbutton? Maybe.
No, I got some screenshots of Rod's feet, so we're good.
Oh, all right. You're one of those guys.
I prefer feet over old guy chest. Yes.
Have you ever watched that movie Kinsey with Liam Neeson?
Of course not.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should check it out because there's when they're doing when Kinsey's collecting all his data and stuff and going through all this shit. They bring in this one guy, and he's like, I can come in like 10 seconds. And he's like, well, that's impossible. Then all this other guy gets up at the table, was like, and then he does. He's like, pretty impressive.
That's a skill. I don't know if it's a gift, but it's definitely a skill.
He could sit on the sidelines of an adult movie, and they could be like, "All right, this is taking too long, bring the comer," and then he just comes in, knocks it out, and he leaves.
See, impress your guy friends with that ability to do that. Like, oh wow, I wish.
Why would you impress your guy friends with that? You guys want to see a trick?
Listen, it's a time saver. Listen, you want to spend 45 minutes checking off, or you want to get it over with and move on with your day.
I guess if it's me on myself, sure, but
yeah,
any other time, no.
That's what I'm saying. You can impress your guy friends with the ability to do that. Because in my youth, I would say I wasted way too much time in that pursuit of just relieving the tension and moving on with the day. There are things you have to do, and you don't want to. Right. These days, whatever. But I don't even want. But the thing is, women are not like women. Don't want a guy who comes that fast. Women want you to take forever, and it's like, come on, like there's a
dishes to do. Let's make this quick.
Right? Yeah. But women want you to be able to last all night, and like sometimes women purposely delay coming. Like, I've got neck issues here, man. I can't stay here all day. Let's work with me a little here. You know what I mean? I don't know. And then you start to feel like you're inadequate. You know you're doing the job right. You know you're using everything you've learned, and like you're purposely holding back. That's not right. That's not right. How did we get there? Oh, we were talking about comedy and stuff, and then
sticky protein is how we got there.
Yeah, Alzheimer's stuff. Like, I thought they couldn't truly diagnose Alzheimer's until you were dead. They had to do an autopsy. Now they're saying with a blood test they can do it, which I'm sure I have beginnings of it. I just don't know. I don't want to end up like Glenn Campbell. I don't know if you saw Glenn Campbell when he was deep into it. Like they would say, "What year is it?" He's like, "I don't need to know that." I don't want to end up like that.
No, that is
what year it is.
No, I'm in agreement with you. That to me is like the worst thing that could happen to you, like when you get older and just fucking losing your mind like that, or fucking just forgetting people. That's scary shit.
Yeah. And but the upside of it is you don't know that people are laughing at you.
I don't think you care at that point. I think your family's just hoping you don't pull your fucking cock out at dinner and start jerking it.
With my family's
I
now
did that
hoping
before
that all my
dementia
life.
stuff.
All my life, that's been the story of my life. They were like, "Please don't pull your cock out at dinner." I did not know that was a symptom of Alzheimer's. See,
I wondered why Matt kept inviting me over for dinner. That's weird.
Right.
I knew it.
I want to talk a little politics, and then this is I don't know if you guys are aware. If there's white dudes for Kamala account on Twitter that raised $4 million for her, and just for that reason, their account got banned.
Well, yeah, I read that. I mean, what do you expect from corporate media, from like shitter? I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, but that is like to say you're not trying to put your finger on the scales with that. Like that, they didn't violate any rules. They raised money for a candidate. That
Well, yeah, I mean, well, Elon doesn't like anything that goes against his opinion.
Right.
But to be fair, he's busy not raising kids and shit like that.
Right. Yeah, and so it just seems like he said, because I don't know if you remember this, but there was a time about a year ago when he put out a poll: should I relinquish power over Twitter, step down from the CEO job over Twitter? I will agree to the results of the poll, and the poll was 58%. Yeah, get out. And he hired this Linda Yaccarino, who is a local. She's from Deer Park, New York, and she is now the acting CEO. But you can't say that he's not making these decisions. He's still telling her what to do, right? She's just a puppet, and he wants to hide behind. Yeah,
yeah. What always makes me laugh about shitter when I'm on there is that Elon and there's people like they'll like this legacy media, and it's like, dude, you're doing the same. You're doing what you're saying they're doing. You're silencing one voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? But
Totally
I
up
get
in the
it.
ante.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. He's a bad dad, so I mean, he's got nothing else in his life going on.
Yeah. Well, his kid is trans, and I think it was male to female, and now he's said they're dead to him. That is the ultimate bad parent. Like, your kid is going to make decisions that you don't agree with. You never that you're dead to me. It's one thing to say a parent is dead to me. Listen, it's not. It's a inconsistent two-way street. Kids are allowed to say that about their parents. Maybe someday they'll come back. You can never say that about your kids. That's my.
I don't know if you can't say that completely. Like, if my kid goes and shoots up a school, yeah, I'm disowning that kid.
No, you don't disown them. You go to visit them in prison, but you make them. You don't. I would.
If you go pop a bunch of 8-year-olds and you're expecting daddy to come visit you in jail, hell no. You're lucky daddy doesn't come finish the job on you. Like, you need to go away.
Wow, you're a rough bastard. See, that's to me, that's always your kid, and you want them to deal with the responsibility, be responsible, and listen. If you're going to go 100%. To jail, if you get the death penalty, that's going to happen. But I'm still going to come to you and support you while they're about to kill you. That's.
I mean, depends. It really depends, man. That'd be hard.
Jeffrey Dahmer's father, I think, stood by him, and if you can do that, I think Elon should stand by his kid who just decided.
Well, I don't want to compare that to Elon though, because Elon's just being a piece of shit in general. His kids didn't do anything but are living their lives,
And honestly, Jeffrey's steak tartare was to die for.
Yeah,
I've heard that. In fact, I heard it was picture perfect when he would finish it. So,
yeah, I don't know.
His hands were soft and supple,
but his hands too.
Actually, if you pick up his cookbook, it's called All the Dark Meat, and it's a great book. You should check it out.
Do you think Jamie Tucker is going to show up today? Jamie Tucker from wherever she's from now.
No, she heard about Dahmer and was out.
I don't know if that's the reason. I just think
or the sticky protein did it, one of the two.
Yeah, well, I think if you're told 10:15, you'd be there by 10:13 or 10:14 just to be, make sure your shit's working and all that stuff, right? No,
Perhaps.
Yeah,
perhaps. All right.
You would think so.
I would think so, but then
common
what do I
sense
know?
isn't as common as it used to be anymore. So
Yeah. Well, so that would. So what time is it now? We got. She's got
10:14.
Yeah, she's got 15 seconds to be on time. That's a tough one. 10, 9, 8, 7, blah, blah, blah. She's not showing up on time. At least not on time as of, she's got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. She's officially late. Yeah, officially late. First no-show of the week, probably.
Cancel her shows. She's done.
Now, he says, Ian says, Ian bouncing back and forth, Twitch to you. What's with that, dude?
He's giving us views, man.
Go on betanysport.eu/dogtv and bet on you can bet on anything over there, right? You can bet on anything. You guys following the Olympics?
A little, like I gotta say, if you like to smoke, if you have Peacock and you go into the Olympic coverage and you put on the surfing, that's a good event to have on while you're smoking, and in the background have that going.
Did not know that.
It is it's awesome because it's not all like bright and shiny like the rest of it, and they just kind of go with it. They do have commentators, but they're not talking all the time, so it's pretty relaxing and it's interesting, and like I said, it's great for if you're going to smoke and you need something on in the background.
It strikes me that the right wing people and I think it's just, well, it's not just right wing. The Americans who are freaking out about the opening ceremonies and all that stuff and whatever they are freaking about, they're just looking for something to be outraged by. But there is no point in expressing your anger in America over this thing. It's not our games. It's Paris's games, right? They're allowed to do it however they want. They're hosting it. That's up to them. Why are you griping to me about it like I have, or even your neighbors about it, or to fellow Americans about what your problem is, whatever the fuck they're doing over there? It's not our thing. Like, why are you mad at it? And what can we possibly do about it? Nothing, right? I just don't get it. It's just like we need something to gripe about. Let's gripe about that. Let's be angry about things we have no control over. To people who have no control over it. It's just very weird. I did not know surfing was a thing in the Olympics. Any other sports I'm unaware of that they've added in the last 50 years since I've watched? Ping pong? Is ping pong a thing? Olympic sport? Table tennis?
I think it is. Yeah.
It is.
Skateboarding, table tennis.
Skateboarding?
Fencing.
Yeah,
skateboarding's in the Olympics this year.
That's interesting. I guess you judge by doing tricks, like whatever, a panel of judges.
It's just like X Games, but Olympics.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right.
It makes more sense than video games.
Yeah. So, but I did get a job offer from NBC Universal to create some of the content for the Olympics. Just a temporary, not a full-time job thing. But I'm not taking it anyway. I'm not going to Manhattan to sit in their office to create content. If they wanted to, send me the tapes or send me the digital masters and have me cut it up, that's one thing. But whatever. It's like I have no interest in it. So I'd probably be bored to death with that stuff. The one thing I found somewhat interesting is the women's gymnastics.
Of course you did. I'm not shocked about that at all.
Right. That's not kinky, right? The pommel horse. No, they don't do pommel horse. They do uneven parallel bars in women's. And then they flip around a lot. They bounce around a lot. But you want a chick that can bounce around a lot. Don't you want a chick that can bounce around a lot? That would be fun. Look, Steven just bounced right out of here. Now, I'm not sure if he is cognizant or really trying hard not to be caught faking it, but I did see him wheel his way out, as opposed to when those times where he's danced his way out of the.
He just gets up and walks off.
Yeah. We're going to have to change his name to Steven the Freeloading Scammer Ortiz instead of sitcom, right?
Yeah.
Steven the Freeloading Scammer. No?
Yeah.
That's not,
no, it's not.
That's more appropriate.
Hey, what about this? I like this bit that the conservatives are pulling with being racist without saying the words they want to, because they keep saying DEI higher, and yeah, it's really bad. It's like, we know you're just being really racist right now, and you're upset that you can't say it on TV, but that's the impression that I'm getting, like, every time.
Oh yeah.
All right, I want people, if within the sound of my voice, go to betanysport.eu/dogtv and bet on first of all, whether or not some prominent Republican is going to end up saying the N-word on tape before the election. And the other thing is how soon the under-over, like, is it 6 weeks? Is it 12 weeks? How long? They definitely want to say it. Listen, if you want to say it, just say it. Just say
Especially
it.
now that there's a black lady running for office.
Right. None of your hardcore base is going to ban you. They might even, like, get more enthusiastic if you say it. Like, yeah, you said what we were all thinking. That that line. Oh, well, he just says what we're all thinking. No, I'm not thinking that.
I wonder, do you think it'll actually be the N-word that gets said, or do you think someone will bring out, like, some old classic racial slur?
Like colored or
No, I'm talking, like, deeper than that, like a real, like, old racial slur.
Like Mandingo.
Yeah.
No, right, worse
rough,
than
man.
that. I remember there was a guy that came to this open mic in Harrisburg. This is probably like 2 years ago. And this old white guy, heavy set guy with a big white beard and stuff. And he gets up on stage and he starts, like, trying to do these bits about the Olympics or something with black people. And, like, he started rolling out, like, all these old slurs and things like that.
Oh, no.
Then eventually he said the N-word. And in a primarily black room.
Right. How'd that work out?
It got ugly. It got very close to being really bad.
I imagine so. I would have been like, get him!
The big winner of today's pool is Ian, who bet another no-show.
Ian, you have a One Will See shirt heading your way right now, sir. To send us your size, it'll be on its way.
First of all, did you see what he's asking for those? It's like $45. You're a nobody. Nobody's ever heard of you. Why would somebody pay $45 to put your fucking picture on a shirt?
This is what kills me, okay? Like, he's asking for money. No one's giving it. Then he offers up a shirt that nobody's going to buy or wear. It's like, man, just get a day job and do comedy.
That's exactly my thought. Like, you just
like,
get a job.
Like, come on. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I struggle. Like, I'm a struggling comedian. I get it. But I'm not gonna sit here and put out a GoFundMe. Hey, help me get to Austin. No, I'm not helping you get to Austin. No.
Yeah. Well, as much as we give him shit, Mike Shavola has given Willie at least $300 over the last year. Sent him money, not just wired him money when he was in the airport. Walking around the airport for 3 days, Mike Shavola sent him $125, and Willie said, "Thanks a lot. I'll send this to my wife right away." Like, I sent it to you because I was concerned that you were going to run out of money to eat and stuff. And I'm sending it to my wife. Like, oh man, because she's the breadwinner. But yeah, you just want to say, grow up. I want to send them the clip from The Godfather, and you guys, I know you don't have the reference, but there's a where what's his name? Fucking Marlon Brando is smacking around the Frank Sinatra is wannabe Al Martino. He's smacking him around, saying, "You could be a man. You could stop being a woman with his tears." And it's just you could grow up and be a fucking man. Take care of your responsibilities, man.
Like my wife is the breadwinner in our home, but I don't take a penny from her to go do my comedy. If I have something coming up, I find a way to make some extra cash. I'll babysit the neighbor's kids. I'll do something, but I'm not like grow up a little bit. It's if you have fans that are gonna throw money to you, cool. But I mean, you can't just take advantage of every person out there, ask for money, and do nothing with it. Like,
right.
It just makes no sense.
We sidetracked back into. I don't want to continue to, but it's like a trap I keep allowing myself to fall back into with Bashful Willie. I do wish him success on some level here. I mean, I hate to see this go on and on and on for the rest of his life. But he just refuses to help himself or even acknowledge that he's on the wrong path. So, but I do want to come back to what Ron was talking about. These people, we can call them Republicans. I don't think they're all Republicans. I don't think they're real Republicans. I don't think they're real conservatives. They're part of the Trump cult. I have already heard, no exaggeration, 24 of them calling her every one of those slurs that you talked about. Off, they're not on camera. They're not these, but I guarantee you, all these higher ups in the Trump cult world are saying it in their private circles. They don't think everybody's got their phone, taping what you say. Sooner or later, somebody's going to pull out a live tape of, J.D. Vance just yesterday had somebody in his inner circle taping him while he was talking about how they're afraid of. They pulled a bait and switch on us. Now we're running against Kamala, and we don't know how to handle this. We were prepared for running against Biden. He wouldn't know he was being taped. They're going to be taped, and somebody's going to leak that out. So I don't think it will be. It's not going to be an October surprise, be an August surprise, or at very latest September 1st surprise. But they're saying it. I, as God is my witness right now, I know they're saying it right at this moment. And here's the thing: once you start, this is what got me fired from radio, blacklisted from radio. Not racist, but saying the F word on, because you think you're dancing your way around it, and you can dance away around it, but sooner or later, no matter how hard you try to actually come out and say the word, it will slip out. I was doing a friggin' on the radio, punching my desk and saying, "You can't take a friggin' phone call," yelling at the engineer, friggin', and then slipped out. And then before I knew it, I was fired from there. And then word got around to the local other radio stations. This guy says fuck a lot, and you got to make sure you're really on top of the 7-second delay. So I have no doubt that somebody's going to slip out and full on tantrum of racial slurs, and you're going to hear about it. And I don't think it will make a difference to anybody. The people who are already going to vote against that ticket are going to vote against that ticket, and the people who are going to vote for that ticket, nobody's going to change their minds over it, which is a really sad commentary on America. Anyway.
Well, the real sad commentary is those guys whining like little children because the game changed. Well, guess what? That's life, gentlemen. I know you want participation trophies and want to wear your lingerie and fight people in wheelchairs, but it's life. Things happen.
You got this thing about a lingerie. I don't know if you see. Have you had an incident? Were you abducted by a Republican wearing lingerie? Is that what happened?
He woke up to George Bush just breathing heavy over his bed.
No, it was George's Bush.
You're gonna take this evil doer.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, and Trump was asked about J.D. Vance's comments about women, and he didn't answer it. This is his thing. Even when he's on with friendly reporters who are throwing softball questions at him, he never answers the question. He just says, he just acts like you didn't even ask that question and answers whatever question is in the back of his mind or he wants to address. It's pathetic. They let him get away with it, like time after time after time. No matter what the journalists or so-called journalists leanings are, they're intimidated by him just rolling over them with, I'm not going to answer your question. Instead, I'm going to answer a question about how great I am and what a great baseball player I was in high school. It's fucking frustrating as hell. I can't wait. I'm really hoping against all odds that he is defeated soundly, and not just him defeated soundly, but that the Republican Party, as it stands today, is defeated in the House and the Senate. So they finally say, well, we've had enough of losing. It's time to dump this guy, get him out of our lives once and for all.
Yeah.
Can I play a brief clip that I have I put on YouTube? This is very briefs. Yeah. This is Trump. I don't know if he said in the recent rally, he said, they laughed at me. And I hate when people laugh at me. This is that clip. Here you go.
And they laughed at me. I hate when people laugh at me.
He's gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh at you.
And they laughed at me. My administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true.
He's gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh at you.
Our army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. No, so disrespectful. They laughed at me. And they laughed at me.
Donald Trump.
No, so disrespectful. They laughed at me.
But no one is happier. No one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing?
And they laughed at me. And you see it was going to hit not only Florida, but Georgia. And he said, nobody ever asked this question, and it must be because of MIT, my relationship to MIT. And they laughed at me. Do I get electrocuted? If the boat is sinking, water goes over the battery, the boat is sinking. Do I stay on top of the boat and get electrocuted? Or do I jump over by the shark and not get electrocuted? Because I will tell you, he didn't know the answer. He said, nobody's ever asked me that question.
He's going to laugh at you. They're all going to laugh at you.
Obviously, we all know about your credentials and breadth of experience. In an episode of Celebrity Apprentice, at the steakhouse, the men's cooking team did not impress the judges from Omaha Steaks.
And they laughed at me.
And there was a lot of blame to go around, but you, Mr. Trump, recognized that the real problem was a lack of leadership.
And they laughed at me.
So ultimately, you didn't blame Little John or Meatloaf. You fired Gary Busey.
And they laughed at me.
And these are the kind of decisions that would keep me up at night.
And they laughed at me.
He's going to laugh at you. They're all going to laugh at you.
I never understood wind. I know windmills very much. And they laughed at me.
He's going to laugh at you. They're all going to laugh at you.
And they laughed at me.
And so he's a laughingstock. Don't, if you're so inclined, don't share that with anybody. It's on my YouTube channel. Don't share it because Donald Trump does not want you laughing at him. That's because he hates that. It's so disrespectful that they laughed at him. They're not gonna laugh at him.
But yeah, I mean, like the biggest thing out of that clip is how even why would anyone want to go back to that bullshit? That was fucking coke fueled 4 years. It was
He's already proven that he can fix America, according to the people in my world, which I like. How he really, if you look at it, he did not fulfill a single promise that he made to them. His biggest promise was he's going to lock Hillary Clinton up. He didn't do that. And you know what? I was all for that promise. That's because she was a white collar criminal her entire life. She skated on that in a big way. Sure, if you're going to lock Hillary Clinton up, that's one promise. But he didn't build the wall. He said he was going to build the wall in 6 months. 4 years went by. He didn't build the wall. He said he was going to reduce the debt. He increased the debt more than any other administration ever increased the debt exponentially. He didn't do any. He didn't fulfill any of his fucking. He said he was going to drain the swamp. Instead, he's filled the swamp. And all the bad people are still there, and he added more people on top of that. Name a single promise that he actually fulfilled. They can't do it, but he already proved his accomplishments, and he proved that he can fix America. It's just so fucking bizarre. One guy said yesterday on Facebook, and this is somebody I've known all my life, so I don't, and I know he's too stupid to waste my breath on to try to explain the reality to him. He said, if you believe that a man at 77 committed 91 felonies after never committing a felony in his life, you're brainwashed. I'm like, you know what? First of all, he bragged about some of the felonies he was indicted for. Secondly, it didn't happen when he was 77. The one he got 34 for when he was 69 years old. The hush money payments were when he was 69 years old. This is he's just getting charged with it now, or going to court, convicted of it now. But a lot of those things he bragged about and says, basically he asked for immunity for. You don't ask for immunity if you didn't commit the crime. But you're going to tell me about brainwashed. And they're quoting Kid Rock, who came up with that fucking brilliant.
Well, what about the Republicans that are still somewhat Republicans, and how their party has just been bullied by this guy with the RNC and what happened at the convention? Because you can tell there are some people that are excited, but I mean, even watching that convention, that's your fucking room, and you couldn't really win it.
Stockholm syndrome, yeah. Well, Ron Filipakowski, who from Midas Touch, he basically he mentioned that a lot of it, because he was 30 years as a pundit for the Republicans, and it was Trump that convinced him to leave the Republican Party. It's not like he's a flaming liberal or Democrat. And he said a lot of these people, intimidated by Trump, think that 5-10 years from now, this will all be gone and they'll be able to wash the stink of Trump off them. And he's like, I'm sorry, this is a lifetime sentence you've given yourself. It's like, I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Secret War of Harry Frigg. Paul Newman is in it. And there are people who are, when Hitler is in charge, they're saying, I'm a Nazi, I've always been a Nazi, I'll always be a Nazi. And then after Berlin fell and Hitler was, whether he was escaped or committed suicide, whatever he chose to believe, they were like, I've never been a Nazi, I've never will be a Nazi, I'm Swiss, I've always been Swiss. It doesn't work. Nobody's going to buy that. Your commitment to carrying water of the American Hitler is going to be there 10 years from now. It's going to be with you forever. You're never going to be able to wash that stink off.
Yeah. And it's kind of like conspiracy theorists. They're pointless because they can never answer a question. Mm-hmm. They always follow up a question with another question. It's like, well, you're just going on.
Yeah. Or they'll use circle reasoning. And they'll just circle around the drain with the same bullshit until you get tired of asking the same question.
Yeah. It's very frustrating stuff. So I am hopeful, though. It's so weird for me to say, but I don't want to live in a country that has one-party rule. And what I'm hoping for is exactly that for the short term. I hope the Democrats kick the Republicans' ass so bad in November that they rebuild and the Republicans rebuild completely over. They scrap Trumpism and go back. The last great Republican administration was Eisenhower. And Eisenhower was a guy who he supported Kennedy when Kennedy won the election over his own vice president. And that's the kind of guy we need. The bravest thing Eisenhower did as president is he came out against a very powerful Republican senator, Joseph McCarthy. He was the one guy who said, we can't allow this fascism to grow in America when we was doing the blacklist and all that. You may hate communism, you may, even though you can't define it and don't know what it is and really haven't read anything about it, you can hate it all you want, but they're still allowed to be in America. This is still a country where we have to respect everybody's right to want to change in the direction, want to change the country in the direction that they were. And you can't go down this fascist path that McCarthy was leading us to. He stood up against his own party. The president had to fight against the underlings in his own party. There's nobody in the Republican Party left. Liz Cheney was one. Adam Kinzinger was one who were willing to say, we can't allow this guy to just drag us down to what we fought against in World War II. And they've been ostracized from the party. So there's nobody left in the Republican Party with the courage or backbone of their principles to say, we need to rebuild. So that's why I'm hoping for a whitewash. I don't have any confidence it's going to happen. But there does seem to be an awful lot of energy behind Kamala Harris, but she hasn't been completely, they haven't had time to do, let's go through every piece of dirty laundry in her life. Let's dig up. Listen, if they did that to me, they would find something.
Oh, well, yeah, but they're already. Yeah, but they've already started that shit. Where like, oh, she slept her way to the top, and she's doing. It's like, what do you think? Donald Trump is a shining beacon of morality? Go fuck yourself again. It's like, are you? I don't know the obsession with the elderly man. I don't get it. And it's a shame that conservatives don't have a backbone to get rid of them, but they don't.
Yeah, the few people who recognize what he is in that party don't have the courage to stand up and say so because of the Liz Cheney's and Adam Kinzinger's and Justin Amash's who were thrown out of the party for doing exactly that. You've seen what the consequences are. If you stand up to Trump, he will have you flush down the toilet. With our sound effect.
Yeah, because the only reason he wants to win, this is a desperation. This is a Hail Mary. He needs to win because he's desperate to get out of trouble.
Right.
And I hope he fucking loses so reality comes crashing down. And, he'll probably die an Elvis death on the toilet or something like that.
Ian says Kamala being ushered in with no actual campaigning is which it's not like she's not doing anything. She's campaigning like crazy now. There will be a convention and there will be people who will oppose her. There will be people who oppose her. To say nominee by default, perhaps, but you know what? This is not unprecedented.
It's politics. That's how the system fucking works.
Yeah. And to say that she wouldn't, it's clearly if they had a nomination, a mini primary, she would sweep it. There's no doubt in my mind that the party is unified behind her. To say there are a few dissenting voices, and there will be some who voice that in the convention,
as there should be.
Right? Yeah, I agree. But to say that she doesn't deserve the nomination or hasn't earned it, I think is a stretch. That's a Republican wannabe.
That's because if it was flipped, they would have if Trump decided to back out, which he won't, but the same thing would happen in the Republican Party, except it would be what's her face would be the nominee.
Haley.
Possibly.
Yeah, even her. I mean, what we saw in the Republican primary stuff was the hardcore Republicans said they put out the message. It wasn't even about issues, platform, or anything. It's Trump or get out of the party. That was their message. So it wasn't like they had a fair primary season anyway. The people who put their support behind Haley, those were never Trumpers that were still alive and breathing within the Republican Party, who probably won't come out of the woodwork to say it. But in the primaries, they said, yeah, no, we can't. We've had enough of this fucking shit show.
Essentially what they're doing, they're showing the country what it means. Like, you have to win for desperation reasons. It's not about improving the country or anything like this. This is pure desperation that they need to win.
Yeah. So, you know what? I'm certain there will be things that Kamala Harris does that will be unpopular. Maybe I will disagree with wholeheartedly. I don't know what she really will do. But if you look at it objectively, I think the Democratic Party is behind her. I think it sounds like I'm stumping for her, but I'm going to say that I think she's the most capable person in my lifetime as far as actually having worked a real job in the private sector before getting into politics. That counts as a lot. Donald Trump never worked a real job. George Bush never worked a real job. All these people, Bill Clinton never worked a real fucking job in his life outside of politics in the private sector. Ronald Reagan was a fucking actor. Barack Obama was a community organizer. That's not a job.
I'm just happy that it's a fucking different candidate instead of the same old white guy or polished white guy running. It's like we've had that, and we had Barack in there, but we've had the white guy run. Like, let it go, whiteys.
And since like the early 90s, every election has had a Clinton or a Bush in it. Just about every year up until this year?
No, 2020.
Last year?
We had Biden and Trump.
That's right.
2020.
Well, I just mean not on the ticket at all, is what I mean. Because no,
there was no on 2020 there was no Clinton or Bush on the ticket.
Oh, you're right, yeah. But before that though.
Yeah.
Really long stretch of Bushes and Clintons.
Yeah. And I'm just happy to see it's someone different. Like I said, that's what excites me the most, instead of just
they're all lizard people anyway.
Do you because they're trying to paint her as like it's ultra leftist. I don't listen. She was a prosecutor, and a pretty hard-nosed prosecutor, and put criminals away. I've never experienced somebody who, listen, defense attorneys can be far left. Prosecutors generally, and in my experience, always have some at least moderate tendencies. They're law and order people. You can't be a prosecutor. And the biggest thing the left complained about was her putting reefer smokers in jail. You don't do that if you're a bleeding heart leftist. But they're trying to paint her as like
but here's the thing about that. Do you know the actual number of people she put away for marijuana offenses?
No.
It was big.
Now, she did 1,900 marijuana related cases. 45 of those people went to jail. Out of 1,900 cases.
Wow. And were they did you get the stats? Or were they possession or dealing?
No, that I don't know. But the general number is out of 1,900 cases, 45.
Yeah, we should look deeper. Well, first of all, if it's possession at all, I think that's probably 45 too many. But we don't know if there were priors, if these people had other prior things, and this was there's a lot underneath the hood there that you can look at and say, well, what were the specifics of the case?
Yeah.
And would you do the same thing? Yeah.
And then again, it was a different time in the country, and she's a prosecutor, so
Right.
she's doing her fucking job.
Exactly. That points to being law and order, and this is the party that claimed to really be about law and order, which is a fucking joke because they have had more criminals at their most recent convention than basic mob meeting in fucking upstate New York in the 50s. But she was doing her job as a prosecutor, and you would think that would appeal to law and order people, not turn them off and think, wow, what a leftist.
No, I love it because you can tell they're scared. They are so scared because they don't know what's happening. They put all that focus on Biden. Now they have her to deal with, and that's what they're scared of. She's more ballsy than Biden.
Much more. And I've been a fan of hers.
We want to see. That's the debate we want to see.
I've been a fan of hers since 2017 when she was in the hearings, the Senate confirmation hearings of all Barr and of Sessions and of Gorsuch and Kavanaugh. She was like really holding their feet to the fire and really and like not taking any bullshit answers and all that stuff. She was very, very impressive in those. We have somebody trying to get shipped to shore, and
kind of white. Oh wait, no, it's not.
I think that's his cock. Oh no, it's the white guy that's with him. That's his cock.
They were on the ship too long.
Mr.
I'm gonna put it in your ass right now.
I'm not bringing him in till he's unblurry. He's all blurry. You see how blurry he is? He's like, remember what what was the Deconstructing Harry Woody Allen film? Robin Williams was in it, and they had to send him home because he was out of focus. Why don't you go home and relax and get focused, Mel? This is Mel out of focus. Oh, he is a black guy. Anyway, nice of you to drop in, GD. You got quite a tan out there in the Alaska sun. Thank you very much. Get out of my room. When you get ready, come on back. You can let yourself in when you have something.
Oh, I'm sorry. Because you're black?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Now they're probably freaking out in Alaska, right? Have they seen a black guy up there before?
Probably.
Probably
Maybe.
not.
Uh-oh. They got him.
They got him.
They found him.
Yeah.
Now have we
I guess it must be hard for him to hide in the snow.
Yeah. I just thought there was a law in Alaska, no black guys allowed. So he probably has to make
that was
believe.
Texas.
Well, that too. Is there any show business or no? No.
Yeah, I have like 3 stories.
That's fine. 3 is more than none.
Yeah.
And
Terrence Howard math. Let's go.
Are we expecting gamer news on Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got some. All right, you working on it? All right. Right now it's time for showbiz. I'm going to find my sunglasses and not be a derelict like I was yesterday.
And now, bringing you the latest in entertainment news from Hollywood, New York, and East Bumfuck, Montana. Here's our chief entertainment correspondent, Ron Kane. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showbiz. Showbiz.
We appreciate your effort there, GD. Thank you for trying. No host, though.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. It's Taco Tuesday, so make sure you put your mouth in those tacos and suck all that meat out. Yeah, so our first story here is Jimmy Kimmel and John Mulaney have both been offered the hosting job for the Oscars, and they have both declined. This is a job that nobody wants, apparently. In
I'll take it.
I'll take it too. I'm sure it pays fairly well.
Yeah. I would love to get smacked in the mouth by Will Smith.
Oh yeah, for sure. So these were probably the top 2 candidates, especially Mulaney. hosting, but yeah, he does not want the job, and you can see why, because it's thankless, and the celebrities just take it too seriously. They can't handle the jokes, so I'm not surprised by this.
We're gonna get Ricky Gervais, aren't we?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I'm sure he'll be asked, or I'm sure they're trying to get Billy fucking Crystal back too. I mean, how old is Billy at this point?
You know what, Billy's a local guy, and I had thought, because he's been out of show business now for a good 10, 15 years, right? I mean, what was the last thing he did? I would thought about reaching out to him and see if he wants to be like a relic and come on the program and talk about the good old days. Whatever happened to Billy? He's still alive. He's got to be. How old is Billy Crystal? Maybe.
Yeah. I know he's still alive, and you're right. He's not doing much like show business. Why? I think he was part of like some documentary a couple years ago about the Mets or Yankees or some shit like that.
Oh yeah, he was. I think he was a Yankee fan, if I have that correct.
Yeah, you could be right about that. I can't remember. Like I said, I can't remember if it was Yankees or Mets.
He's only 76. That's Jackie's age. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 76-year-olds on this program constantly. I've had older people on the program.
Well, I mean, with the career that he's had, he'd be a fascinating one to talk to, because he has seen a lot in show business.
Yeah,
and he was friends with Robin Williams, and I mean, that'd be.
I'm gonna get him.
Ooh.
I'm gonna get him.
Go get him, Tiger.
Yeah, hold me to that every day. I want to. What's up with the Bill guys? That question. Remember to ask me that every day. What's up with getting Billy Crystal on the show?
Yeah,
Kevin Smith. I'm gonna get Kevin Smith on the show too.
Yeah. So the trailer for Kevin Smith's new movie. It's called the 430 the movie. It's semi-autobiographical, and it's about a group of teenagers sneaking into movies back in like the 90s, I think, or the early 90s or something like that. So, it's just another indie movie, and this is kind of, I don't know, kind of par for the course for Kevin, but he's been doing some different things the past couple years. He made a couple horror movies, so he's kind of stretching himself a little bit. So I'm curious to see this movie, and this movie opens in September.
I love Kevin. He's I don't know, something very likable about him in everything he does. Even when he was on Rogan's podcast, which I generally, that's a turn off to me. If anybody goes on Rogan, I'm like, you're a dick. But I liked him on that. Right now, we have to say goodbye to Govs. If you want more of showbiz news, you gotta get over to us. That's you know what, and we were. If you want to be a host on Govs, check out their